The Friday Vibe on WNUT.
Hey, what up? It's Brandon hanging out in the WNUT studio. Today, we're going to talk about Bryan Adams. That's something that probably a lot of people haven't said in several decades, but you know what? We should. And more people should talk about Bryan Adams because Bryan Adams, there was a time when that motherfucker was on top of the world. Like the second he would put out an album, that shit would just immediately sell 4 billion copies. The radio would just start playing it nonstop. You know the songs. Summer of 69, Can't Stop This Thing We Started, Heaven, Run to You, Cuts Like a Knife, Everything I Do It For You, for God's sake. The man was on top of the world for a very long time, and as his radio star kind of began to fade a little bit, he became the soundtrack king of the world, taking that mantle from Kenny Loggins back in the day. He had the big hit I just mentioned, Everything I Do It For You, from the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves soundtrack. He had a song in the Three Musketeers, Don Juan DeMarco. Hell, he did the entire soundtrack for Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, for DreamWorks back in like 2002. So the dude, honestly, was the undisputed soundtrack king for many, many years there. But today, we're going to talk about something kind of cool that happened last year that I think more people should know about. Back in the day, when Bryan Adams went into the studio with Robert John Mutt Lange. Mutt Lange is a legendary producer, did huge albums for groups like AC/DC, Def Leppard, Foreigner, The Cars, Huey Lewis and the News, later married Shania Twain and produced a shit ton for her. So, legendary dude, but today we're talking about Bryan Adams. Mutt Lange and Bryan Adams got together in 1991, made an album called Waking Up the Neighbors. This was probably one of the last huge charting albums that Bryan Adams did. It's the one that if you didn't buy the Robin Hood soundtrack, it was the album you were going to get Everything I Do It For You. But it also had a string of other massive singles like Can't Stop This Thing We Started, Thought I Died and Gone to Heaven, Do I Have to Say the Words, There Will Never Be Another Tonight. Like, this was a solid album, and I still listen to it today, and it's still amazing. Very cool, high contrast, black and white cover artwork. Well, I was looking through Bryan Adams' discography because usually if I'm in a used music store or something like that and I see a Bryan Adams CD that I don't have, I'll pick it up because holy shit, you're usually going to find some good stuff to listen to on there. And while I was looking at the discography, I saw he had just put out one last year called So Happy It Hurts. And I noticed the album artwork was very reminiscent of Waking Up the Neighbors. High contrast, black and white. In this, he's standing on a car hood and he's like got his back to the camera and he's holding up his guitar. And so I looked into it. This album was produced by Mutt Lange. These two got back in the studio together and made a damn fine album, had a good time doing it, and there's some really catchy shit on here. I got the thing, I put it in my car, I have listened to it more times than I can count, and usually, you know, like if I'm driving down the road, I'm looking for something to listen to, and this comes to mind, I just immediately go, hell yeah, I put it on, I have a blast for 40 straight minutes. This album is very good. I'm going to play you the opening title track right now from So Happy It Hurts. This is Bryan Adams and Robert John Mutt Lange back together again at last, just as God intended, making some damn fine rock and roll, the way that it still should be done by more people. This is the Friday Vibe right here on WNUT.
is contagious.